how a socialist became the least controversial figure on the right. Shoe0nHead in this case, by basic cap with Simon and Malcolm Collins. Sorry, let's watch it.
Of early online skeptics / atheists, which was like the core of sort of YouTube culture in the earliest days of YouTube.
That's true,
and
Hobo. That's
how
true.
the individuals in this community that went right, they first became anti-feminist, then anti-woke, then
I can guarantee you that.
and then became the seedbed that the new right movement grew out of.
Mhm.
And then another group of them drifted in another direction. They drifted left. And the group that drifted left, like they were in the early atheist, anti-theist movement, and then the movement went either at the anti-feminist or anti-woke stage. They lost their audiences. And notably, we didn't talk about it in that video, but there is actually one that drifted left even after that stage. He was there for anti-feminist, he was there for anti-woke, and he only drifted left at the trans stuff.
What I want to uncover on this video by watching this one specifically is because I have like a kind of dubious opinion about Shoe0nHead. Kind of a confusing one that even myself get confused sometimes. Because she's in a very weird position compared with other creators. So I want to see if they have like a same perspective as me or a different perspective as me. I wanna unfold more about Shoe0nHead, and I think they're gonna help me out with this.
This is a dev / short fight otaku who has completely fallen off. His views are way lower than ours now, if you look at like weekly counts.
He overall drifted left.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he has refused to really call out the trans community as a serious problem and something that needs to be in some way, like legislatively, something like that, addressed.
Inspector, do you know if the killer was a man or a woman?
Well, of course I know that. What else is there? A kitten?
And I think that's part of. He's also become more pro censorship, like censoring people on his forums and stuff like that.
Really? Wow. That surprises me. It seems so unlike who I thought he was when I first started watching his videos.
Well, I mean, I think that's why he lost a lot of his followership, right? Like,
what makes a man turn neutral?
Stone of Jordan D2. God, those glasses make them look pretentious as fuck. I see what you mean, but I really think like they put these glasses more like a character, so they more like I really think that they wear this character they wear this character for the videos, and I find it very nice. I like them, and I like how they combine with each other. I find it really nice. I love that.
Lust for gold? Power? Or were you just born with a heart full of neutrality?
Like
they're kind of
it does seem
VTubing.
very anti what I thought he was.
In some
right?
sense.
But we noted one notable unique case in all of this, which was Shoe0nHead. And Shoe0nHead was very unique for a number of reasons. The biggest being is that she didn't drift left over time or begin to adopt leftist talking points. She was thoroughly leftist from the beginning, and quite a bit more leftist than I think a casual viewer may believe. She, for example, to go over some of her leftist positions, universal health care she wants. She has strong support of labor unions.
I heard of that.
She's a believer in free college. She is, as well as tuition forgiveness. She's broadly anti-capitalist and anti-corporate, regularly criticizing big businesses, everything like that. And she promotes working class
She's in favor of
populism.
Bernie
She voted
Sanders,
for
by the
Joe
way.
Biden in
Don't forget that.
2020. She was a very strong supporter of Bernie Sanders. And so, very, very left-wing, especially in her economic views.
Very left-wing.
Also in her social views to an extent.
She hasn't talked about it a lot in most of her recent videos. She'll come out critical of Trump, but in no way more than, in fact, less than many of the conservative people that I'll hear on YouTube these days, which is weird.
That I would say is true for more recent videos, but if you look at the whole holisticness of her work, she did not lose followers when she was talking about these leftist things, and she even has the name among her fan base of Commie Mommy. So it's a sweet name, I think. But it's also socially, she's been shown to be quite progressive. She right now is married to a trad cath and has a kid, so be aware of that. And she converted to Catholicism over COVID. But before that, she was in a long-term relationship with Armored Skeptic, where she was public about having a 24/7 BDSM daddy dom little girl relationship.
What the
Not
fuck? I wasn't
really?
aware.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of that. Oh my god, man!
Whoa.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
And
Wow.
she
Wow
still
is the
hasn't
words. Wow.
condemned kink or anything like that, which is funny because on the social leftist front, that would put her with us, where we do not condemn kink at all. We're like, what people are aroused by
I
random
don't know.
things,
Daddy
right?
down little girls very
Holy
Catholic,
shit.
But they work father into everything. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I guess that's right. Yeah.
It's extremely paternalistic as a religion and like organization. I don't understand why that particular affiliation wouldn't be quite matched.
But I mean, she has kind of made joking videos about kink. She made that one, a really good one actually, about women getting into like monster effer books.
Oh, yeah.
But she didn't outright condemn it. It was more the way that we talk about stuff like that, where it's like women are ridiculous that they pretend that men are the deviant ones and that they're little saintesses. But in that other video, what I talked about was, why is she still relevant, but none of the other leftist YouTubers are not relevant? Is because she didn't try to change her audience, and she didn't need to convert her audience. Her audience was never really persuaded by her economic arguments. She was never a pipeline out of the right to anyone. She is still a mainstream watched figure in the right. And when I say in the right, I mean, if she did a video
That's
and
true.
Asmongold
That is
didn't do a
weird.
cover of it, I would be very surprised. Leaflet covers a lot of her videos. Nuxanor always needs to brag when he gets mentioned in one of her videos. So
I reacted to
clearly
many
he's
of her
watching them.
videos too.
You know, if she mentioned
But I
us
always
or
mention
birth rates,
that. I always
obviously I
mention
would
that.
be there.
Do you think it's possible that
Malcolm.
could be watching you right now?
Well, if I was
Malcolm.
I would certainly be watching and possibly taping for later playback because, you know, it's a big deal to be talked about on
A Shoe0nHead video. And I watch a lot of her videos too, just for even sort of like cultural relevance in the right. We pointed out that Skybrows regularly has her along all of his.
Pseudo brains. The biggest problem is how that aspiration is weaponized. I disagree that that is the biggest problem, and it's because leadership and management of resources is tied with planning and proactivity. You should be looking for a woman, and a woman should be looking for men. But what are you after in that pursuit? Do you just want more resources? Yeah. That's really something like. Where my head kind of glitched now. I forgot what I was about to say. I'm sorry. I better just go back to the video. Oh my god, the silence is concerning me. Like it not concerning me. It's like making me ashamed or something. Yeah. The imposter syndrome is screaming out for having forgotten what I wanna say. If I remember, I pause again and I'm gonna mention. That happens with me a lot. So sorry.
Alt-right VTubers and everything like that in his videos. And so first, I want to talk on two topics here. One is how and why, because this came up a lot in the comments of that video.
Yeah,
How
that
has
area.
Shoe0nHead maintained this right-wing following and loyalty? For an example of another right-wing influencer, Homath. Homath did a chart of women he trusts, like online influencers he trusted. And she came in really high on that.
Oh, what the fuck? So this is a whole math list? Oh no, fucking way. I wasn't aware of that. Oh no, oh god. No, oh god,
chart above,
Oh, Jesus
I think
Christ.
the majority of like female conservative influencers on the chart, right? Like that is
Oh, you lost
saying
many
something,
points with me,
right?
whole math.
No,
You
at
lost
that,
many
one of the
points with
characters
me.
he had at
That's
the top of the chart, which I
depressing.
think is fun, is Pearl Davis. He's like, Pearl Davis sniffs
Shoe is fine and all. I have fun reacting to her content, even though she's leftish. But come on, don't do that with me, her math, please. Come on.
This girl out. This is with it was on his episode where he was talking about the
Yeah, why I'm not there? What the hell I'm not there? Oh my god, no. He might be doing this. I mean, I only saw IRL people there, so he might not include VTubers. And technically, if you look at the majority of VTubers, they are not good examples of women. So maybe he just dropped literally entirely the VTuber category at all.
big
The one who said that she was a virgin when she got married and the Pope blessed her marriage, and then turns out she was actually sleeping with this other guy while engaged, etc.
Yeah. Well, and in that episode, I realized, just as a brief tangent here, and I think Shoe0nHead actually sort of fits
No,
into
I don't
this,
care, Greg. I
is that
just joking.
of conservative female influencers, because I wasn't watching Nugzanor's version of this, I was watching the leaflet cover of this, is that in the conservative influencer space, there is a certain type of woman who just like comes up and her front and center thing is,
He's not
I
wrong for
am
that, Olabo. I
ex-religious
find it very
woman,
interesting
right? Like
to
I'm
his
the
videos.
trad cast sexy woman, right? And these are the people I think of when I think of quote unquote Christian influencers. And Leaflet was commenting that, you know, she gets accused of being a quote unquote Christian VTuber. Like, how dare you say this as a Christian V?
Uh, it's something that my mind always glitch. Like, is Leaflet really Christian? I see people saying that from time to time, but I never heard myself. I don't remember having heard myself like she's saying that she's Christian, or she's commenting about some. I mean, it's not like she have to, you know. Like maybe she doesn't comment too much or talk too much about it because she's like me. She doesn't have knowledge at all, you know. She's just a believer, but she lacks knowledge. She doesn't, know much. So, or she just wanna avoid talking about that. I don't know what her is, but I never heard she talk anything related to that. And somehow, I'm not criticizing her or anything. Far from that, I like Leaflet. But, I don't feel, I'm talking about feelings here. I don't feel that she's Christian. I don't feel. But yeah, I mean, nothing against her. I like her content. I like her.
VTuber. And I realized how comical it was to consider a figure like Leaflet or a figure like Shoe0nHead alongside these quote unquote, like, I guess I'll call them Christian thought influencers. That's what we'll call them, the Christian thought influencers.
Oh my gosh, that's such a thing though. Yeah.
Because neither of them, while both of them is Christian at this point, neither of them leads anything with that, right? Like that's not their front, that's not their identity, that's not their hook for their audience. And I think it's useful to know, like when you're watching an influencer, to know, are they likely trustable? Are they likely authentic? The ones that are the thoughts are very likely inauthentic, right? Broadly speaking, stuff seems to blow up for them at a fairly frequent rate. Whereas I'm just not familiar with that many controversies at all with individuals on the other end of the scale. With the only one maybe I'm aware of is the Pearl Davis sleeping with, you seem to have a preference for black guys, which like whatever.
Oh, I
I
see.
understand
So
why
she's
that's a
in par more
controversy,
or
I
less
do.
with me. Holy ball.
But I also, it's like, your preferences are your preferences, right? Like I mean this, like we in the conservative community should be defending the idea of your preferences are your preferences.
Like for example, I don't like to identify myself in any kind of like sides of Christianity, like for example Protestant or Catholic or anything, because I think all of these are flawed, all of them. Okay, they're so like they're so unholy. It's really weird call the Catholic Church unholy love for Mary. It's really insane to me. Like I really think I really think that's wrong. Yeah, I'm saying that with all fear of God possible, because I do fear God, of course. But I dare say that because I really feel that that's so fucking wrong. That's so wrong. Like the focus of the Catholic Church is Mary entirely. You can feel that. They barely like, I don't know. I had terrible experience with Catholic Church. Like I really, it's not for me. It's really not for me. I don't understand. I don't understand the adoration of the imagery adoration, you know, all of that stuff. I don't fit in Catholic. I don't fit in Protestant as well. I don't feel in any of this. But I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I believe all that the Bible says. I like knowledge. Yes, I like knowledge. I'm a so bad Christian that how I say yes I am because I'm too far off. Come on, being a Christian is follow Jesus Christ's example. And when I think about that, I don't think I'm not even. I think that I'm not even 1% of like what Jesus Christ was. And I'm saying like in a sense like I'm not saying that we can ever possibly be a 100% like that. But I think we should be, as a Christians, we should be at least 50%, I don't know, 70%, like what he was, you know? At least like around this percentage. I don't reach even closer than that. And it's so insane levels that I'm still so unholy that I ashamed myself of calling myself Christian. I always feel ashamed to call myself Christian because of that. But I also don't call myself Christian because I believe on God and I believe on Jesus. So I cannot say that I'm not a Christian as well. So, you know, you understand what I mean? I believe on them, like, on him, like I'm saying that, but they are the same, like, and the Holy Spirit. But on the Trinity, I believe on the Trins. But I don't think I can possibly be. Of course, I try to be better always, but I don't think that I will be possibly be an example of a Christian. I'm saying this with all my heart and honesty and truth. You know, I'm not saying this as an excuse to not get better. I will keep trying, but I don't see any improvements at all. I'm not seeing any improvements at all, to be honest. Yeah. Come on, Celestine, for example, is way ahead of me. And there is many things, for example, that I don't forgive. Like, I can love my enemy. I don't see me loving my enemy in anywhere in the space on the future too. You know, things that I know that I'll never change. I feel that I'll never change, and I know that's wrong. You know, I think I changed it too much the subject. I'm sorry. Let's go back to the video. So yeah, I don't feel like I've basically say I don't feel like I fit in any of these religions, like Protestant, Catholic. I can only say that I'm a Christian because I believe in God and Jesus, and I try to be better every day. But I'm too much far off being a good Christian at all. Even though I repel these types of identities like Protestant and Catholic, I'm not against any of them. Okay, I'm always in favor of good Catholics and good Protestants as example. I think you can be a good Christian anywhere in any of these like denominations, you know, any of these like you just have to try to be as better as you can, like as Christ, Jesus Christ example. That's what I mean. I'm sorry if I get kind of confusing and try to explain the best I can. And I was going to say a lot more, but I kind of forgot it. Yeah, it's fucking 80. I'm sorry. And yeah, here's my slurs and cussed words. I will not stop saying that. I would just not. And I don't think that this is wrong, by the way. Where is on the Bible that, at least up until the few bits that I know about the Bible, because I don't read that entirely, just a piece of it, I would say 130, 140 of it, I don't know. Where is on the Bible say that I cannot see curse the words like this, like fuck it and etc. Like, where is it written there? You know, of course I don't see that. I don't think that this is pretty and contributes to anything. But it's also, I don't think that this is also something. I'm getting too much away off the top. But let's go back to the video. God.
My preferences are for white women. That doesn't make me a racist, right? Like, in fact, if you watch our video, which race is the most attractive, we do break down that, but generally races prefer their own ethnicity over other ethnicities. I should note here, I'm not saying this because she's ever stated she had the preference for black guys. It's just, of the 3 public boyfriends she's had, 2 of them have been black, and one of them she needed to clarify was not black and was Dominican, so apparently he looked black to other people. And it may not be due to a preference on her part. It may be due to the cursed phenomenon that we're not supposed to talk publicly about, but it probably is useful for young girls, if they happen to be watching this, to be aware of this. The once you go black, you never go black phenomenon is not necessarily because black guys are significantly better when dating or something like that. It is in large part also because a large chunk of the white male population finds girls significantly less attractive after, or at least significantly less valuable as dating or even sexual prospects after they know they've had relations with black men. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but you know, everyone has their preferences. And in the same way that it's like not necessarily a good thing that guys on average happen to find girls less attractive after they know they've slept with a lot of people. But it's also a fact that it's useful for girls to know when they're sort of gauging their dating publicly. And I don't think anyone ever, for example, informed Pearl that her relationship would have this effect. And that's sad, right? And note, I want to be clear here, I didn't say that many white male racists' opinion of a girl goes down significantly after they know she has slept with a black guy. I am saying many white men, even ones who I have known who would, no one would think to call them a racist.
That's really quite a topic to talk about. I think I never heard or thought about any of this before that he's comments now. That's quite interesting. I would like to you guys to type on the chat like you guys' opinions about what he's saying. I'm listening to him and reading the chat, so I would like to know your guys' opinion about what he said. I never thought about any of this that he's saying now.
They have no other views that could get them in trouble for being racist, and so they do not air this particular view. And through not airing this view, because obviously in society if you did that, that would be, and I'm not saying I feel that way,
he's right,
it would be very damaging to you, but it's important that girls are aware of this. In fact, it's so common, I'm drawn to wonder if it might have a genetic component. So drop in the comments
his video,
if you are not white and you know a woman of your ethnicity has slept with a white guy, or you can also add black guy here. Does that drop her attractiveness to you more than a regular body count would? But anyway, that's the only controversy I'm aware of, and I don't even think of that as a real controversy. That's not. She's never pretended to be a white nationalist. She's never pretended to be an ethnocentrist. She's never pretended to be like that. Is in no way betraying the image she has portrayed to the public.
Well, it's so funny that she could have someone like Nick Fuentes on and kind of defend him and be friendly with him, and then get castigated for that, but then also be defenestrated for formerly having black boyfriends. Like, okay, so. Like, what are you mad at her because she's not a racial supremacist, or you're mad that she is?
We're seeing this with Trump right now. Yesterday, or like a few days ago, everyone was freaking out. They said, "Can you believe Trump says he wants to bomb all Iranians?" And of course, that's not what he said. He even ended the tweet with, you know, praying for the great people of Iran. But then the next day, he doesn't bomb them, and he gets the beginnings of the truce worked out, and then all of the same people who were freaking out at him yesterday for wanting to bomb all Iranians, they were like, "Oh, Taco, he didn't bomb all the Iranians. He should have bombed all the Iranians. Why aren't you bombing them?" Right? Like, it's more just like attack them whenever. Like when somebody's on the right, you just get attacked for anything, and it makes you a little numb to it after, you know, you're just like, okay, you're just going to hate me no matter what I say. So I have no need to take on anything performative at this point. But what I wanted to discuss here,
the holy ball, this is what I was saying earlier when I said because masculinity has been so defanged, then the hypermasculinity / thug behavior model attracts women, but those groups are pathetic. And when a woman enters the market, it comes with judgment for who she chose and why. This is part of the sucky side for women too. There is a significant rise, especially in pornography, of cheating and cucking, typically along a racial divide. Oh my god, too much cursed knowledge I'm acquiring on the chat today. Too much cursed knowledge, but I gotta say something about this. Like, you said something about, let me go back here and see. Hypermasculinity and thug behavior. I wouldn't even go as far. This is what I don't understand, because if men are becoming more and more emasculated, and that's true, we can see that we have even data is like measuring the testosterone on men, like it's now like about like less than half of what it used to be. I mean, that's a lot. um Not only men are becoming more like emasculating like this, but if that's true, and that is true, because I'm saying right now, and men are become more feminine and more emasculated, more passive. Shouldn't just like a behavior of a what is supposed to be and what should be the old normal man, should it be enough for a girl to feel attracted? Why they need to go all the way from choosing an emasculate man instead of choosing a normal one that's above him to directly to an hyper masculine like one or slash thug, like that's really crazy. Like, oh yeah. I'm saying myself, and I just remembered I just remember the why it's or hypergamy. Yes, yeah, that's the reason. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was stupid.
Here was one, the phenomenon of why she's popular on the right, and two, the phenomenon more broadly, which I guess I'm going to start with as a meta phenomenon, is I was looking with AI and I could not find an equivalent to Shoe0nHead on the left, meaning there is no mainstream popular figure on the left who has right-wing views. There is
I
no.
think there's one, but it's over, which was the Colbert Report. There was this idea. I mean, and he wasn't even actually right wing, right? But he pretended to be right wing, and leftists loved that. But I think they also just kind of loved the right wing views being espoused sometimes. Like they just kind of they were allowed to enjoy laughing and watching it and kind of even liking it because it was a joke. Of course they didn't like it. It was just a
patriotism and vitalism that they could play along with and have fun with, right? I think that was what grabbed people in that. And it was almost prototypical of a channel like ours, like the Colbert Report.
Yeah.
I mean, people would say, oh, you support
the holy ball because women compete too, and feminism in particular rests of the premise that feminism in women is the enemy and they need to be hyper-masculine themselves, but they don't want to, and that stress is treated by bombardments from social media as much tutor towards monsters. That's true, and I forgot about that actually. I forgot because it's not men that are being emasculated. Women are being like instead of become more feminine, they are become like more masculine. And this makes women getting more competitive. And by getting women like more competitive, they start to aim even higher, even in things like related to relationships. So not only the hypergamy, the natural hypergamy of the female, of us women, does that work on that, but also this masculinity created on woman by the modern society, by the government, the big corpus, and etc. By in our food, and etc. And this all is actually making women more competitive and making them choose like always wanted the 0.00001% of the men instead of an average good guy out there.
everything Trump does. And it's like,
makes all sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Well, even if one day I believe in, unless something is like a true and genuine betrayal and not something that he said he was going to do on the campaign trail, I should go along with it, right? And like, for example, the Iran bombing thing on the campaign trail, he said, I will bomb Iran to smithereens.
As you know, there have been 2 assassination attempts on my life that we know of, possibly due Iran. But we've been threatened very directly by Iran. And I think you have to let them know that you do any attacks on former presidents or candidates for president, your country gets blown to smithereens, as we say.
Right? Like, so it's the same with like when Elon went against Trump for all of these things that he put into the bill. It's like, yeah, but he said he was going to do all this government bloat on the campaign trail is how he got elected, right? Like it was one of the compromises that our side came to. So I don't, but I guess that does make me look like having a relationship with Trump the same way the Stephen Colbert character had with, who was a Republican of that era.
I know United States is a powerful nation. They don't need to prove me that. But this long period of time that United States is taking to take the control of Iran is showing not only to me but to the world that it's demoralizing the United States. Even though we know that the United States has the capability to end this way faster than what has been going on for all this long. I know that. I know that they have the capability to do all of this faster. And I don't know why this is happening. This is what pissed me off the most. All this postergation, all this delay in dealing with the situation of Iran, all these delays on it demoralizes more not only Trump but the United States as a whole, even though it doesn't decrease United States military power or anything by doing so. I'm not saying that. I still think that even if you join Russia and China together, they are not a threat to United States in contrary to many people think. China, I'm not saying that China doesn't have a good military and everything, but there is too much propaganda involved, and they are not so much like that. Okay, they are not. In my opinion, even if you sum up Russia and China, they are not capable of being a threat to United States. And I'll add something more. They are not capable of winning against United States in war with themselves, because United States is right now in war with United States themselves, with their own democrat states, with their own people that are pissed off with everything. United States is having a war within himself right now. And even in a situation like this, I still think that Russia and China would won a war against the United States. But if they would do so. But I still think that this is demoralizing lots of United States, and it's creating a whole problem in all the world, and it's not good. I don't know what Trump is gonna do. I don't know. None of us know what's happening behind the scenes, and what are their second 30s and 40s and 50s intentions in all of this. But they gotta do it faster, as fast as they can.
Maybe George Bush or something. Anyway, I know George Bush, by the way. He's a really nice guy. The people are, I think he made some mistakes during his presidency, but I don't think he made them with malice. And I think obviously the biggest mistakes he made was attempting nation building in the Middle East. But he just didn't have a history or knowledge to know that wouldn't work, right? Like, we had done it in Japan, we had done it in Germany. No one had really tried it in the Middle East before. If it had worked like it had in Japan and Germany and South Korea, which was a pretty successful track record up to that point, and in mainstream culture at the time did not admit that people were genetically different. He couldn't have gone to someone and said, how many successful democracies have ever been set up in an Arab majority country, or what do Muslims really believe? Like, that information just wasn't out there back then, right? And maybe this attitude explains why there isn't this on the left, right? I think many people on the right are actually fairly able to be forgiving of people's political differences. We are open to have friends and be influenced by people who appear to be approaching arguments with good faith. And I think that she represents that for a lot of people, and the left cannot do that. That's why Stephen Colbert, which I think is a good flip here, is their closest thing to a Shoe0nHead, because everything he presented was explicitly in bad faith,
I don't know
which
this
is
guy.
why it was okay. And I think that many of us didn't know how bad faith it was until after Stephen Colbert decided to be his real personality. And then we got to see, oh, this guy is completely cooked in the brain. Specifically, the funniest example of this was when Jon Stewart went on his show and tried to explain that the lab leak hypothesis was likely correct. and funny. Like that segment was so funny. And Steven got like increasingly nervous, like, but this is off script, John. This is off script, John. We don't talk about this in our community, John.
The suffering of this pandemic, which was more than likely caused by science.
Hold on, what's that?
No. Not, listen.
But what do you mean by it? Do you mean like
Well, so
this was perhaps there's a chance that this was created in a lab? I'd love to hear it.
Novel respiratory coronavirus overtaking Wuhan, China. What do? Oh, you know who we could ask? The Wuhan Novel Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. The disease is the same name as the lab. And then they asked the scientists, wait a minute, you work at the Wuhan Respiratory Coronavirus Lab. How did this happen? And they're like, a pangolin kissed a turtle. And you're like, no, the name of your lab. If you look at the name, show me your business card. Oh, I work at the coronavirus lab in Wuhan. Oh, because there's a coronavirus loose in Wuhan. How did that happen? Maybe a bat flew into the cloaca of a turkey, and now we all have coronavirus. Like, come on. Okay.
Wait a second.
What about this? Listen to this.
Wait a second.
All right.
John.
Oh, my God. There's been an outbreak of chocolatey goodness near Hershey, Pennsylvania. What do you think happened? Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe a steam shovel mated with a cocoa bean. Or it's the chocolate factory. Maybe that's it.
That could very well be, and Anthony Fauci and Francis Collins and NIH have said, like, it should definitely be investigated.
Don't stop with the logic and people and things. The name of the disease.
Wait a second.
The building.
Wait a second. But it could be possible. You could be right. It could.
I'm sorry, these people are so disgusting with all these things, with all these rules and all the government, the system, the billionaires. They are so disgusting to watch. You see that the entire time, like the journal is trying to control the situation and control the words spoken and control the arguments. This is so fucking disgusting. This really makes me real. Blah. Oh my God.
It could be possible that they have the lab in Wuhan to study the novel coronavirus diseases because of the bat population there.
I understand. It's the only place to find bats. Austin, Texas has thousands of them that fly out of a cave every night. Is there a coronavirus, an Austin coronavirus? No, it doesn't seem to be an Austin coronavirus.
And, obviously he ended up, especially with his Charlie Kirk comments that were just really vile, ended up, I think, showing his true colors eventually. And his true colors just apparently come down from being afraid to challenge or criticize any woke orthodox belief. And this is probably created by his writer room. I think he hired a bunch of SJWs to be writers, and that made him really afraid, which is, common in Hollywood. I do think that he might have been more moderated in his earlier beliefs, because at one point he said his favorite president was Nixon. So,
Oh
and he
gosh,
said, really,
I need
this
to
is
bath
going to
so
surprise people.
badly.
So like not in
A
character.
shower. I'm a
Okay,
sticky fox
but to
today.
Shoe0nHead. Why does Shoe0nHead appeal to right-leaning individuals? And I will read an article attacking Shoe0nHead, which I think will help explain how
I'm
she
sorry,
still
I'm
appeals so strongly to right-leaning individuals. You ready to buckle in on this one, Simone?
Yeah, please enlighten me.
Okay. This is an article on Medium and is one of the first results if you look up criticisms of Shoe0nHead. Shoe0nHead, the red-brown queen of simps and the dangers of populism. So it starts with, and then it says a criticism of June Lapine, which is her real.
I still don't get the same thing that not only them, but Shu herself talk about her audience being all simps. And up until now, at least I didn't saw that. Am I wrong? Or all of them really simps like that? I don't think this is the kind of audience that she attracts. I might be wrong though. I don't know.
Real name starts with a number of quotes from her. Rape culture isn't real. Okay, that's not a problematic quote, unless you're talking about a Muslim culture. If she's talking about some Muslim cultures, I'd be like, whoa, Shoe, like you really need to look at the 99% of Egyptian women have been the subject of sexual assault statistic, right? Like this is clearly a systemic problem, but not in American colleges or in America, which is probably what she means. The wage gap is a myth. Just, this article was written in 2021. I don't even think people on the left argue that the wage gap is.
What the fuck? The more I know about Shoe, oh my god, I'm discovering so much. The BDSM thing and now nudes. What the hell? The holy ball.
Real anymore. The patriarchy
I
is not real.
I didn't know it.
Obvious.
Oh my god.
White privilege is not real. The only privilege is class privilege. Okay, good way to try to bring in the socialism in there. You see, that's where she brings it in.
Okay.
These are a few memorable quotes by the YouTuber Shoe0nHead, a self-proclaimed social democrat, anti-SJW YouTuber with 1.5 million subscribers and 400,000 Twitter followers, bigger now, I think about twice the size now, who has successfully solidified her way into legitimate leftist spaces after 5 long years of desperately trying. I mean, she constantly talks about Vosh and being friends with him and stuff like that. She's mainstream was very far in mainstream leftists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into why she's so dangerous now, we need to talk about her past just a bit. Shoe0nHead built her YouTube career off of the momentum of Gamergate, the misogynistic harassment campaign that gave birth to the alt-right and eventually helped get Donald Trump elected. But there's a chance most of her fans today don't know that. In fact, most of her fans today don't know anything at all about Shoe. So a few funny things here is most of Shoe0nHead's fans, I would argue, are not leftists. They are her original fan base. They are still Trump voters. There's a reason she's in every Skybrow video. So no, her fans are very much aware that she was anti-woke and still is anti-woke, right? And then 2, I love this person's characterization of Gamergate, right? Like a alt-right harassment campaign where it's
Did he talk about Skybrows? He did. Does he know Skybrows? I got surprised by that.
like Gamergate was about very real corruption in gaming media that led to the eventual destruction of the entire industry. Gaming media does not exist anymore. Side Scrollers, a conservative YouTube show run by Stuttering Craig, which we've been on a bit in the past, probably bigger than all of gaming media combined, like leftist gaming media at this point. And there are some other bigger gaming YouTubers.
That's true.
But they're all either rightist or apolitical at this point. And certainly not establishment. The last establishment leftist gaming media figure was Zero Punctuation, who many don't know. He does not like Trump. He's admitted that in some of his videos. So, and he is hilarious. I love his videos. I watch almost every one of his videos, but he only became a non-establishment because the company basically kicked him out. They fired everyone and he got mad at them, and there's the whole drama around that. And then he went
Is
to
he
start
the angry British man? Or
he's the angry, I thought he was Australian, but he might be British.
I'm just thinking about the grumpy British man.
But that's who you're thinking of, I think. He's
okay.
Yeah, goes on those long, funny rants. Anyway, so she goes over bullet points. So you know how evil she is, okay? They don't know that she was friends with Laura Southern, a white nationalist that made a video trashing Hillary Clinton together in 2015. So a few notes here. Laura Southern is not a white nationalist. She has denied she's a white nationalist. I think at most she has admitted some ethno tensions around differential fertility rates or something like that, which is not anyone should be like, if I'm now in the United States, white people actually have very strong fertility rates, especially Northern Europeans. But if you're talking about other countries like Italy and Spain and stuff like that, like, yeah, I'd be really concerned. And when I say strong fertility rates, I mean strong fertility rates for our income level, not in a global scale. Obviously, poor people have more kids, right? But even if you correct for things, see our video on this. Because in another video, we were talking about this, and one of the commenters didn't seem to be aware of this when we were talking about why, like, Northern Europeans have strong fertility rates. And they were like, well, that's not the same as birth rates. And it's like, no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, white people in the US have a higher fertility rate than black people in the US, despite black people being poorer, right? Like, if you're unaware of that, we have a higher fertility rate than Mexico. We have a higher fertility rate than the average fertility rate of Latin America. We have a higher fertility rate than any country that comes close to us except for Israel in terms of the only one that's sort of close is Australia, which is again a Northern European country predominantly. So yeah, no. It's not a particularly warranted fear, but I'm still okay with people cheering for their own team. It could be better.
Yeah,
I mean,
by all means.
1.6 is good. I want to get up there, 2.5 or something, but like we can get there.
Yeah.
Next, she says, they don't know she called indie game artist Zoe Quinn a quote unquote whore and was a huge quote unquote classic liberal e-celeb during Gamergate. So for people who are unaware, Zoe Quinn is a whore. Like, no, she like, that's what she's famous for, is sleeping around with lots of people while she has a boyfriend. I suppose a lot of people while she had a boyfriend, and then doing reviews on their video games, right? Like that's like both unethical and whorish. I suppose if I was going to criticize her, we do not have, it's more like she was paying the guys for sex than the other way around, because she would write positive reviews about the games that guys she had sex with. So it's sort of worse than being a whore. It's I would say trading your reputation and time for sex with somebody else sort of puts you on the receiving end of the whore category. But yeah,
this makes it look like it was she's trying to pay them for the privilege.
A recent Shoe0nHead quote, by the way, that I thought was fantastic is the video she's saying, it used to be that when an unattractive woman saw an attractive woman getting more attention than her, they'd call her a whore. But we can't say that anymore because somehow being a whore is good now. So now we call them a racist. And I think that this is in regard to Sydney Sweeney controversy, but I think this article right here, they explicitly don't say, and she isn't a whore. The implication seems to be more, and being a whore is empowering. That is how we capture our femininity.
Michael,
What
I
the
believe
fuck?
that is a whore.
It says here is Shoe0nHead at a party with Carl Benjamin.
Oh,
this is Sargon
no.
of Akkad. For people who are unaware, no, she's not even talking to Sargon of Akkad. He just happens to be in the foreground and she's in the background with her boyfriend.
Guilt by proximity thing is so weird. You breathe the same air as them.
And note here, she's wearing cat ears too. This is
that the condemning factor here?
That's the
no, I'm
first
just
thing
saying
I paid
that
attention
socially,
to.
that's a pretty like, I would say at least not like trad conservative, very, very conservative as this new conservative culture is conservative. Like the things that she does that are so not traditionally socially conservative are things that the new right wouldn't really condemn. Insofar as we are voices within the new right that I think sort of embody a lot of the beliefs of it, that we're not going to go out there and be like, oh, you know, you need to, if you practice a kink relationship with your monogamous boyfriend where you wore cat ears and did like daddy dom little girl stuff, that you need to go in a cage forever, right? Like whatever, right? Like it's with your partner, you both seem to be turned on by it, like have fun, right? And I think that this is partially why
her or
you
anything.
didn't
I
know
just
that about her. and
just
it's not a
grabbed
big
my
scandal
attention
about her
the years.
because nobody in the new right effing cares,
Yeah.
right? It is just the old timey purists, and if she tried to get in.
But I can't criticize a lot of other stuff on her. That it's not the cat ears. A lot. And your guys on the chat are giving me even more reasons to criticize her now. Look at nudes. Oh my god, man. Oh my god. We're at fucking 2026. People still send nudes online.
In with
Oh, okay, fair. If I remember, you guys said that the nudes thing of her is quite old. But even so, come on. Come on.
or the new timey deontologists that are about, you know, purifying the ideology of the party, purifying, you know, racial purity and everything like that. It's just
Hello,
like,
Johnson.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like ethno groups are real and genetically cluster, and there can be some utility in attempting to preserve one, but it's not the only genetic strategy you can attempt. And that most ethno groups that you are a part of today were in part made by mixing previous ethno groups.
Oh,
like
the effects
British
of the
ethnic
wall,
group I'm a part
Commie.
of is a mixture
You guys
of
would say.
a number of ethnic groups: Celts, Picts, Vikings, French, some Netherlands. And so, yeah, you know, it's you can mix ethno groups to create a superior ethno group. I'm joking there. I did not say that my ethnicity has any degree of superiority. That was completely.
I agree with Zella on this. Like the thing about the right wing, is that because we are sane people, we are constantly like criticizing ourselves. Criticize the others among quote unquote among us. So they're like so they keep in line and they don't start doing bullshit. So while the left they don't care, they just become this huge pack and goes everything that is different from them. And the rights not only fights amongst themselves but also against the left. So it's really crazy. It's really crazy. It's really insane. Yeah, it's complicated because after all, like that's the toll of being a sane person. You really look at the others among you as well, and you can recognize their mistakes and flaws and talk about them. But you don't do that just for the sake of talking ill about them, but to say that to try to make them better, different of what the left does. And in fact, we're still way more like acceptable of the different ones of us that the left does. The left, if we put one toe aside of the little boxes that they have, you're already not one of them. It's simple like that. They are simple like that.
Said in jest. Do I make your side hurt?
My whole heart.
We point out in somebody in our comments was complaining that like how like when you mix ethnicities, like look at the ugly children that are created by this. And I was like, well, we do a video where we rank ethnicities by hotness. And in the studies that have looked at mixed ethnicity children, white people think white Asian babies are more attractive, not babies, adults, like I guess people made of those pairings are more attractive than other white people.
They are. What can we say?
I kind of agree. I think that often they do turn out hotter. It's not to say that I think that that's the optimal genetic strategy.
I don't know. I kind of disagree here. Like, I'm not saying that I myself don't like, but what I mean is that I think it's more about the context of what you don't have around, Like you see a lot of people that look like yourself because this is the country where you live. So you see a lot of like-minded people, like not like-minded, like aesthetically like people. Of course, like this is changing every single day with a lot of immigrants, right? But I mean, my country was always like that. But for you guys is new. So what I mean is that when you see something that it's not common, is like it is different from you. Because it's different, it gathers more your attention. I think it's more about being different than being prettier. I think it's more about that. It's more about that. I think it's something related to that.
I'm just pointing out that this is statistically what white people think. And note that there are other ethno groups that prefer white, like for example, Hispanics prefer white Hispanic mixed people to Hispanic people.
Oh.
And also, I think it's a cultural thing too. It's not just directly because of what their appearance implies, but like their culture like is way different than ours. And when I say that, I'm saying about mine and yours as well, from US, Like it's way different. So that may gather more attention too as well. Like they are way more conservative. I'm not saying that things are marvelous there, but they are way more conservative than the West. All that Asian culture that has, all those things are more attractive to the people outside of it that when looking at them, So there is that as well. Are many things involved. I don't think it's direct. I think the actual aesthetic, the actual like appearance, is the last of them.
But to continue here, well, go watch that video if you're interested in this topic, right? Holding her hand to the fire. They probably don't know that her name is Shoe0nHead comes from a meme where people harass webcam models who could not speak English. Okay, fine. Sounds edgy nonsense. They don't know that she called non-binary people trans trenders up until 2017. They
Oh,
don't know
no.
that she was a big fan of Milo Yiannopoulos, an infamous alt-right troll, and close friends with Carl Benjamin, aka Sargon of Akkad, UKIP party member. They don't know she said Trump might be good for America after he was elected and told LGBT people that they were overreacting election night. At this point, it's like,
stop. My penis can only get so erect.
Like, please stop. Hell, they don't know that she used to be engaged to Armored Skeptic, a Canadian reactionary or centrist YouTube skeptic who made videos against trenders and feminism, which was very much a real phenomenon, right? And then they have a picture of her dressed up in, I don't know, sexy clothing on her husband and lighting his cigar and they're holding a sandwich, right? And they're like, not sexist, obviously joking there. And they say her ex has an interesting rig. I can't tell what's funny about this. It just looks like a car to me. For years, Shoe has been slowly sneaking away from her old neo-reactionary spaces and making her way into left-leaning communities, successfully sweeping her past under the rug.
I did risk for it.
She was not calling non-binary people trans trenders just a few years ago. Many on the left, such as Steve Shives, this is one of the ones who we talked about who moved to the
Not
left, but was in the
actual.
original
No,
atheist
I
community,
told you me
a victim of
test.
Shoe0nHead's harassment, has been warning about this
actual
infiltration attempt for
stuff.
years.
What kind of harassment is this that allegedly is causing all these problems?
I'm sure she just called him out for something he really did. Okay, when you actually look into this story, this
No,
is
I
like
don't.
psychotic framing of what happened. So Steve Shives at MythCon 2017 tried to get Shoe0nHead, Armored Skeptic, and Sargon of Akkad banned from the event, deplatform them, interfere with their sources of revenue and public outreach, removing them from the conversation. And all she did in retaliation for that was make fun of him for being such an SJW. That is absolutely wild that this would be framed, and not even like in a particularly cruel way. Psychos. I mean, this is what the tweet that they have about her. She seems too eager to excuse herself regarding Buck Angel. Oh, because she had Buck Angel on? Buck Angel is trans, by the way. And he's just a trans person who said the horrifying thing of trans children are actually a problem and you shouldn't be gender transitioning children. And he is living proof that the majority.
I like Buck Angel because of that. Because he calls out the people transitioning. He warns people of the dangers of the fakes. I think like, even though like I don't agree with you to change genders and trans, I all of this stuff you guys are pretty much aware of that. I like her channel. It's difficult to say because it's a woman that transitioned to a man. Her channel. I like her channel because of that. Because the people tend to accept more the ideas of ones that are like-minded, like them, that are from the same social group. For example, women tend to listen better another woman talking about some situation than if a man would say to her, And it's the same like with transgenders, for example, and blah, 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 blah. Like they want to listen to someone that is inside. I'm not saying, and I will not say that they will change their minds because someone from inside the group is saying that. After all, like the first thing that the left told them, the communists told them, is that one doesn't think like you, but it's part of the group. They are automatically not of your group anymore. It doesn't matter if like, let's talk, for example, about the black people. Let's say that we have a based guy or woman inside the black community, and he starts speaking to black people that they shouldn't be like that they should blah 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 blah. To those be the lights in the dark, They automatically like are not like black anymore to them. They start to be treated like whites. It's really insane. I don't have words to describe how the left, how the communists did this brainwashing. But it's how it is. But it's still, even among the stupid, some people can see through all of this bullshit. It's so ridiculous that a lot of people, even these brainwashed people on the left, they see when this happens, you say, wait, but that guy or that girl is just like me. He's just like me. Why he's being treated different? And they open their eyes for what is the left, what is the communism, how demonic it is. And sometimes some lives are saved by that. And I think Beck Angel has a nice, like a huge role to play in all of this. In case of the transgender, you know?
Of the original trans community is quite mortified, him, Caitlyn Jenner, everything like that, with what the trenders have turned the community into.
People like her are
still-
very
I
important.
still gotta check.
Doesn't matter like
Gosh,
if
I
people
mean,
don't
I
dislike
haven't
it,
heard
it's
that
very
name
important.
forever.
Not sorry for that VidCom pick. She was in with Shoe and Armored Skeptic. She worries about being a burden to her colleagues' friends on YouTube, but puts tweets from others in the video, possibly making trouble for them. Why should she be sorry for the VidCon photo? Because it helped to normalize two SE untrustworthy opportunists who are constantly grasping for a sort of legitimacy and acceptance
thank you,
suggested in the
Befe.
photos. Specifically, she's talking about her ex here. And this is Shoe0nHead eating with her ex. The hilarious, this also includes ContraPoints and Lindsay Ellis, right? Which I think are fairly mainstream leftists, right? Thoughts, by the way, before I continue?
I think this is an example of people trying to make cancellations out of absolutely nothing, because I don't see anything wrong here. She's living her life and mixing with other influencers and expressing opinions, which is the only thing an influencer can do if they want to provide
Well,
substance.
this is actually a really good point about Shoe. So cancellations often validate people in the eyes of the right. I think if you look at the early days of VTubers, because we talked about this in the other episode, like Rev Says Desu, which uses like
I don't think so. I think if you if you are from a different group and you claim to be, you shouldn't be involved like with other one. But of course, it's not her case. She calls herself leftish. So I think it's wrong when she's with right-wingers, in my opinion. It's just because, I mean, in my perspective, because I think that if you are inside a group, you are a part of them. Even though you don't believe you are, you will be treated by the ones, not the ones inside, but the people outside as being part of the group. Like, for example, if you see a group of people assaulting or doing robbery out there, and there is one people among them that did nothing, didn't do nothing. Like, I did do nothing. I was with them the entire time in all the stores that they robbed because they are my friends, but I didn't do nothing. Would you believe? Would you treat that person different because they didn't? That person didn't rob it you, but that person was with them or was walking with them. Would you trust them? It's the same. It's the very same. That is valid for everything else. Every other community examples that you might think.
literally an anime girl, child vampire as his avatar. I mean, I think that would make many people quite suspicious of him, but his constant cancellation sort of affirm him in the eyes of the right. I pointed out Scott Alexander.
I think what Shoe does is like, even though she claims to be on the left wing, all what she speaks, all what she does, is playing like most of what she speaks. She often, like, from time to time, she says something that is left wing, like for example, liking Ben Sanders is the last one that I remember. But there are many others. But she doesn't say, if you see like what her content, she does not say this stuff quite often. She does not. And everything that she does on her content is most of the time is catering for the white wing audience. You know? So what I think that she does is try to be in good sides with both. Somehow she has been doing that. But I don't think that she's doing a good job because a lot of leftists actually hate her. I think like I think might be that there are some people on the left wing that likes her, like we see on the photos. But it's undeniable that most of her audience might be actually right wing and not leftish.
Being taken down by New York Times made him an intellectual who you could cite without
It's only play.
within right-wing spaces. In addition,
Even though she's being too much traditional right now, right? Wife, husband, baby, you know? A traditional conservative family.
the entire VTubing community was really affirmed by the
Well, not the BDSM part, right?
right in the big explosion that happened with the case of, what was it, Anna Valens, and then trying
Yes,
to
and Kirsha,
take down
yeah.
Leaflet and Kirsha, right? And Smug Alana, was she part of that? I forgot Smug Alana on our VTuber piece, and I love Smug Alana. She does great videos. By the way,
Okay.
Smug Alana is another Fox girl. The reason I don't
Oh.
remember her is I get her confused with Kirsha because they have very similar avatars. Simone, your thoughts?
In my opinion, like, Smugalana is more funnier than Kisha, in my opinion. That's why, like, I'd be honest, like, I rarely watch Kisha content, but I do watch Smugalana a lot. I think, like, Smugalana is a lot more funnier. But, I mean, because she doesn't focus too much on the political side of stuff, she just gave her opinion very lightly about these topics. Kisha goes more in depth with give blunty and dry, like, punches, doses of reality on people. And I love that on her, by the way, that she's way more drastic, that she's way more blunty with reality. So she ended up like not looking as fun as Magalana. But when I'm watching content, I watch more as Magalana facts than Kisha. But I think that what Kisha does is more important than Magalana does. I would point out like that. So I think Smugalana is more entertaining, but what Kisha does is more important. Yeah, I think this explains a lot well.
My God. Yeah, sorry. Up all night again. Tex is doing the thing where he doesn't like to sleep. I'm just shocked. Here's what I actually think is going on. And this is something that came up in the comments of the YouTuber video that you did on YouTubers going to the left and to the right, post the 4chan Tumblr atheist time. Is that what you didn't, this wasn't really about people choosing a side, like, I'm going to become a Democrat, I'm going to become a Republican. It was about whether or not people were part of those spaces in the first place because they hated or resented the church or God, or whether they were in that space because they wanted to pursue truth. And they were like going toward a light versus like hurling poop at as something that made them angry.
Pursuing truth, yeah. It's something that I talk a lot here, right? And oh gosh, how this is so difficult. How it is difficult to pursue the truth. First, you need to have the strong intent of pursuing it, which, by the way, this alone is so freaking hard to do. This is so hard to do. And even when you have this intent, this insatiable intent of pursuing the truth at all cost, it doesn't mean that you're gonna reach it. You might get confused. You will get confused many times. You end up like saying like things that are untruth like many times as well, that are not intentionally, of course, just because you made a bad judgment on things, because you're not perfect. And you probably die without unfolding the truth, as always. Like, you literally what it means to be Christian is dying like on pursuing of the truth. Like, yeah, it's complicated. It goes farther than that, but I'm not getting depth on that because this video is so freaking huge. I've been yapping a lot on this video.
Right. And I think
By the way, how Kisha, I still don't know how Kisha is pronounced. Like Kisha, Kirsha, Kirsha, I don't know. I try my. I will stay with Kirsty, but I still don't think it's right way. It's so complicated, man, to pronounce her name. What the fuck? Kirsty, Kirshu, Kirshu. Oh, what the fuck, man? Oh my god. I bet that you guys gonna clip this to do me later, or Frosty will make a short of it. It always happens.
The people who tended to go toward the left and then be associated more with
I
the
give
left
up. I give up.
were the people who just wanted to hate on God or the church, or show resentment towards something. And often that something turned into Trump, turned into capitalists, turned into whatever, right? After they were sort of done throwing hate at priests or the church. And I think the reason why Shoe0nHead is an example, and maybe to a lesser extent ContraPoints, because ContraPoints, I think, maintains some level of popularity, is that their focus in the end in very different ways, which you also touched on it in an earlier.
Kirsha, courage. I don't know. Kirsha. I'm reading all the ones that you guys are Kucha? No, it's not Kucha. Come on. Kirshon. No, you guys are joking already. Come on, you guys are joking with me already.
Episode hasn't been on. I'm going to just dunk on this thing and hate this
Do
thing.
not
I'm resentful
course.
and angry and depressed. I have mental problems. Everything bad. Hate. Rather, they show a sense of affirmative, forward-moving vitalism and generation. In that Shoe0nHead is vitalistic. She has fun commentary. She's very energetic.
Yeah. We gotta agree with this. Shoe0nHead is so fucking funny. I laughed a lot many times watching her content. I cannot deny this. Really. She's too much entertaining. I love that. I love her videos, even though she gives many times and so many times horrible takes that hurts in my soul. But she's a hella funny.
And ContraPoints has taken the very different direction of being like theater kitty. I'm going to add gel lighting and costuming to everything and be really entertaining about it. And
she's almost like for different reasons, different aspects on Chibidoki's own. You know, she's kind of unique.
That I think actually you can.
Yes, I will patent this. I will call this Chibidoki's own now.
Even see this in the way that ContraPoints versus PhilosophyTube's videos went, because both of them decided to take the theater kid perspective.
Yeah.
But in the actual content of each of their videos, ContraPoints gets really nerdy about things, but in a non-hateful way. In a not like, I'm going to talk about how someone is bad, but rather I'm going to be like, look at how Fire Festival went insane. Or like, let's go down the rabbit hole with Twilight. Whereas PhilosophyTube is like, I'm going to talk to you about how, you know, everyone's bad and terrible, and how the world is bad and terrible toward trans people, toward humans, toward the proletariat. And so it's more about hate. And I think that was a really interesting thing that several people in the comments of the last video.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned this, because this is another individual that, like, a lot of online conservatives watch ContraPoints videos. When we have brought her up and liking her content, because I like her content online before, especially in contrast to, who was that other one? PhilosophyTube, right?
Yeah.
Where I like PhilosophyTube is not very high quality content, and ContraPoints is pretty decent sometimes.
Well, I mean, which is actually, I want to say it's notable because in terms of quality, I think, you know, Abigail Thorne, aka PhilosophyTube, would immediately shoot back being like, I have a team, I have makeup artists, I put time into my script, mine is higher quality, I'm more professional. Whereas I get the impression that ContraPoints actually does more of the work herself, like on her own.
Because she's doing the leftist thing, which is the performative hiring of people, the performative, not just using AI.
The bureaucratizing. But
Midlands Muse. Shoe is a funny woman who has lived her life. Yes, she made mistakes, but that's okay. Young people are allowed to do that. These people are too serious and are holding her to standards that they themselves did live. Give me 48 hours and I can't dig dirt on them. No? Like, I haven't done nothing in my life that the things that I was aware here in the chat that Shoe did. But I mean, I'm way younger than her, but I mean, probably on my age she was doing shit already. Yeah, people can fix them. And of course, everyone commits mistakes, but it's like I usually say, like, mistakes have different levels. You can do different types of shits in different levels. You know, none of those I did in my life are as comparable as hers yet. But of course, I did my shits too, probably. And I would say something else, but I kind of forgot. Let me read again to see if I remember. What? They didn't leave? Give me... what? Holding her to standards that they themselves didn't leave. I'm forgetting something. I was about to say something else. I'm forgetting a lot of stuff today. Oh my god, this pissed me off. This pissed me off too much. I know I was going to say something more important than that to complete the the thing, but whatever. Let's continue. It's so big.
There's just this huge difference between like nerding out vitalism enthusiasm versus like, I hate this thing, I'm smarter than you are.
Here's why you should hate it.
Yeah. It's like I say, Midland music. I'm not like without seeing. I have my problems too. I did my wrong stuff too. Everyone does. And yes, everyone will cast a stone in the first that commits a mistake. That's how humans are. It's our flaws. Like everyone's like that. Very rarely one doesn't act like that. And if someone said to me that doesn't do this, I wouldn't trust them. Really, I wouldn't trust them. Because everyone does this type of shit. I've seen many times. And yeah, like, I couldn't... Oh, I remember. I actually remember. Like, yeah, I really couldn't live like that IRL. Like you said, to the same standards. Or I would be dead. I would be dead right now. Yeah. So, no. You said something like, oh, I would prove like that person 48 hours wouldn't live to their standards, like when not in the camera, something I think you wanted to mean, right? It's some in that sense. So yeah, no, I cannot be like I am here. IRL, yeah, you're right on that. Because if I was here like I am like IRL, I would be dead. So no, I'm not like how I am here. IRL, not even close to that. Not even 5%. I believe maybe less than that. No, I'm not. Of course not. But I am myself here. I'm not myself IRL. It's the contrary. But yeah. My avatar is my IRL life. Yeah.
Here's why you should hate it and why we should all be depressed and sad. And it's not even really about right or left, Trump bad or good, right? It's about like how energetic and vitalistic and is this person moving?
I'm not cheating. Oh my God. I'm not like shitting on her just for the sake of shitting and just for the sake of pointing out mistakes. Everyone has the right to commit mistakes and changing. I've said that countless times here, but I have the right to not believe in a person when they claim to have been changing. Of course, she haven't done that too. She's not claiming to have been changed or anything too. So no, this is not what I'm doing here. I think you got me wrong somehow. I don't know. But whatever, I will continue. We have so much time yet.
Moving society forward, or are they trying to tear it down? I think that's what it fundamentally comes down to. And maybe that's what the new right is fundamentally about. It's not really about being like old-fashioned religious or not. It's really, are you excited about building up for the future? And if you are, then you're in the new right. You might, not fit in any other way, but you're there anyway.
Yeah, actually, this is a really interesting meta point for a number of reasons that I want to dig into. First is fun side here. For people who don't know, PhilosophyTube, when she was still a man, dated ContraPoints, another trans woman. And after they broke up, that's when she started transitioning, and in a way that looks like she was trying to look more like ContraPoints. And then she started doing videos like ContraPoints, and ContraPoints has even called this out in a deleted tweet. Like, if you think your exes are stalkery, you've never had one like completely medically transform themselves to try to be as close to you as possible, right? Like, but and then launch a career that mirrored your own. But
it's a little bit relatable. And I only say that because like when I first met you, I was like, why am I not him? I was just so excited that you existed and kind of mad that I couldn't pull you off. But also I have the humility to know that I could never be you. So maybe that's the key difference.
I mean, you kind of are now. We've got kids together, right?
I know that's the best thing. That is the best thing.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Like, not only get to like
so
combine
cute.
my identity with you, but also make like iterative copies of you.
Creepy?
That we get to,
No,
like,
it's not creepy.
Yeah, the moment you got a chance, stamp.
No way.
They do act like us. I'll tell you that.
Well, they act like you.
They do act like
You're
you.
not crazy that this
They
is
act
not
like
cute?
me. This strawberry is getting my mouth wet. I can't eat it.
But one point I was going to make here is stylistic. An interesting thing about Shoe0nHead's videos is they actually stylistically look more like left-wing videos than right-wing videos. They're closer to a ContraPoints in terms
my brain
of their
works
level
different.
of editing and development. They're sort of a mix of the two cultures, but I point out that like right-wing videos, when we were talking about that, they're often far lower production budget. They're much more interested in just like, these are the ideas, right? Like they're not if they have jokes in them, the jokes are germane to like the way the conversation is flowing, like a Nux Taku or us or something like that. Whereas, or Bridget Finnessy does a lot of jokes in her videos, whereas Shoe0nHeads appear theater kitty, I'd say almost, right? Like it's got an ounce of that flair to it, and it doesn't turn off right-wing viewers. I've never heard it. I actually quite like the effort she puts in.
I don't know them quite well. This is probably, I think it's the second video of them that I watched. The first one I didn't react, so I watched it myself alone. This is the first one reacting, my second video that I watched for them. Up until now, I like them very much. Don't see any complaints about that. I think they are too much technical and correct. And for now, up to now, they really deserve the title of based. So yeah, even though I don't think it's based to call yourself based, others have to call you based. That's what I think. But what I mean is like, but there is something. If there is something that they are doing very right, is reproducing. Reproducing. It's something that has been taken out of us. People are not thinking they have kids anymore. That's intentional. Like they destroyed the family. They destroyed they made like women hate men. Men hate women, you know, all on purpose. Like, of course, they made women hate men first. And as a reaction, men started hate women as a reaction. Of course, because every action has a reaction. And now we don't have families anymore. Like, people are afraid. Like, men are afraid because of all the machinery that has created. Men are afraid of losing their stuff when they get a woman, when they have kids with them. So people are not having kids anymore. People are not becoming couples anymore, you know, and this is a huge problem. This is everything that we were not supposed to be doing. And that includes me. Like, come on, I'm alone like what? 4 or I even lost count sometimes. 4 or 5 years that I'm alone already. I include myself of this, you know? And you guys that are alone, that I know that there is a lot of people that are married here too. But I'm talking to you guys that are alone. Like, we were supposed to be forming couples and have kids, like, and they taken this away from us. And I'm not saying that you guys are wrong, like, for not wanting that, as I'm not too. Like, it's just how difficult things became, and how people don't trust anymore on other people and don't trust the society, and like we are really going against God's intent, you know, of like reproducing and multiplying, and you know, yeah, all of that stuff. That's so sad. That's so sad that we cannot like something that should be so beautiful and should be like contemplated. That is like a creation of a family, having kids. That is something like that is a God's blessing. A God's blessing in people's lives like became like as if it was a curse somehow. That's really insane when I think about it. That's really insane.
Second, or then the larger
So
meta thing
at this very point, agree or not with everything that they said, like, and up to now, I think I agree with everything. I maybe forgot about something that they say that I don't agree with, but I think I agreed with everything up to now. Yeah. Even without all of that, there are 2 people that are not woke, that are not insane, that got together and have kids and see to be a successful couple. At least, I mean, we see a couple who have flaws that they will not last. They don't tell me those flags. They really tell me when I look at them that they will stay together for very, very, very long time. You know, I might be wrong. We never know. I don't have a crystal ball or something to look at and see the future, you know? But this is the energy that they give me, like the energy, feelings. Yes, this is about energy and feelings now, right, guys? I think I'm accumulating left-wing energy here. Let's continue.
wanted to get to that I think is really interesting here is what
I forgot to finish my points. Even if like they weren't on the internet seeing all of this, just by then having a kids, like they are doing something amazing that most of the content creators are not being able to do nowadays. Like, you know, they are making change to some to society. But because don't get me wrong, this is powerful. the family unity is the most powerful thing that has in the society. It's the building blocks to change everything from bottom to upper side. And that's why the government and big corporations, that's why they want so much to destroy the family. So much. That's why all this agenda, all these libtards, and that's why all of this exists, to destroy the family. It's the beginning of everything, you know? It's what holds society together in the smaller block possible. And they are doing like the most like the biggest thing that one can do. They are creating a family. This is a huge obstacle nowadays for all the other people, you know.
Caused the original split, and I think Sarah Hayter said this best on what's her show called again? We've had her on. Sarah Hayter.
I mean, yeah, Sarah Hayter was on A Special Place in Hell with Megan Daum.
Special
I
Place
think
in
you're
Hell.
thinking
Yeah,
about
okay,
that.
great.
But that ended.
Oh, it did? No, it's a shame. But anyway, so she said on A Special Place in Hell that what we saw with the old atheist community is over time, it turned out that of the like leading voices within it, half of them just wanted to dunk on Christians, and half of them were interested in what was true. And the half of them that were interested in what was true is the half that broke off and eventually became anti-woke New Right. The half of them that just wanted to dunk on Christians, I mean, many of them were the celebrities that like we don't even remember used to be part of this movement, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, Bill Nye, you know, who's now like denying his old videos, like,
Oh my
no,
God, I
gender is not
forgot
a
about
thing,
Neil
it's
deGrasse
not why
Tyson.
X, Y, and Z. Like in his new series, he actually explicitly contradicts simple videos he
remember
made
all
about
the
gender in
memes.
his old
Are you
series, right? Because he's
serious?
completely brainwashed. But what's interesting is that the way the split happened, if you're talking about like the absolute leaders of the community, you know, people like, you know, Richard Dawkins and like that whole group, the Four Horsemen or whatever, I can't remember all of their names, they didn't all move to a traditional rightist perspective, but they certainly didn't go in the direction of the celebrity types who were just interested in being atheist celebrities, like Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye. All of them, as far as I'm aware, have since said the movement was a mistake and Christianity is a good thing and made our society stronger and better. And that's a shocking thing. But the reason they said that and the reason they all came to that belief is because they were willing to look at the evidence as society changed. And so we saw that in this early community.
Well, it's a surprise to me. I didn't know that Neil deGrasse Tyson said that. Wow, that's really something. That's really something because the guy was an idiot for quite a long time.
One half of it was really they just hated. They allowed their hatred for the other group to define their beliefs, and the other part was searching for the truth. And I think we're actually seeing this again within.
Yeah, and that's why I'm surprised, Pseudo Brains. I'm surprised because he recognized that God, that Christianity, like is important to society. That's what like, and that's what made me surprised.
In the right now. I've pointed out in the last video we did on this, and we have a longer video that we haven't aired where we go much deeper into this phenomenon, is that it turns out that the sort of deontologist faction of the right, the Nick Fuentes faction of the right, where we dig deeper into his beliefs on this, is much more dominated by, like, they are willing to sabotage the United States' best interest if it hurts Israel. And they are willing to sabotage America's best interest if it hurts Israel. They are willing to sabotage the best interests of unborn children if it helps preserve some degree of like moral purity in whatever they're voting for. You know, like if you know the Republican Party is going to put more restrictions on that, and yet you're voting against them and telling your followers to vote against them, it shows a degree to allow the things you hate to override the things you say you love, you know? And I actually think that there's a lot of parallels between.
I don't know. I don't know about Israel. Like I have divided thoughts about Israel, to be honest. I was more convicted that Israel was the victim, but nowadays I don't know anymore. I still have many doubts about it. I don't know. I really don't know. But even so, I look at the Palestinian and Israel situation. I still think it's so bullshit. Like so, It's so fucking annoying that all of this exists. I just wanted them both to disappear, whatever.
I mean, that strain in the conservative party right now, and note here when I talk about like hating Israel more than we've pointed out, we have a whole video being critical of Israel, being like, hey, like there's actually, problems in the relationship between the United States and Israel. But to, go so far as to say, and therefore we should not take out the Ayatollah of Iran who wants us all dead, right? Like we should allow him to have a nuke despite the large terrorist network Iran runs outside the country. That's where you get to a point where you're like, come on, man. Like, if we can use Israel, they've dropped around half the ordinance that has been dropped by Israel. Like they're pulling their weight on this. They also have ground forces dealing with terrorists in Lebanon, but they pulled back. When we made the deal, for people who don't know, we were not aware, like Iran, there was a miscommunication, it appears, at least that's Vance's interpretation, it could have been intentional, that Lebanon was not part of the deal. And Israel really didn't want it to be part of the deal.
What? Stone of Jordan? What? Why just Tel Aviv? Why just Tel Aviv? Why not Palestine? Oh my God! What? Oh Jesus Christ, man! Oh Jesus Christ, man!
And
I don't even know
after
what's.
the
I'm
deal was
tired.
signed and Iran
Let's
pushed back
finish
on
this
this,
video.
we put pressure on Israel and they pulled out of Lebanon, as far as the last I checked. I'll be honest about that. So I decided to double check this before putting this live. And as things stand, yeah, Israel has pulled back in Lebanon, but not entirely pulled out in Lebanon. They were completely furious about this. They had asked us to make absolutely sure this was not in the peace negotiation, but they're doing what we tell them to, basically, because that's the way our relationship works, despite what some people will tell you. So, like, they've also, like, in terms of playing ball by our standards, when we said don't bomb any infrastructure again after the bombing of the North Pars oil field, they stopped, right? So where was I going with this? Like they do annoying things. Also, if you watch mainstream media, you may not be aware that despite the talks technically collapsing, the ceasefire is still in effect. But overall, you are self-sabotaging the party and the collective MAGA movement. And we find out 90% of MAGA is pro-war, right? And I will note here, it's not just Republicans that are pro this. Since the bombings have started, Republicans in the midterms have gained significantly. VoteHub aggregate before the strikes started, as of February 28th, 2026, Democrats were at 47.9% and Republicans were at 41.8%. By March 25th, it had narrowed to Democrats at 47.4% and Republicans at 42.8%. YouGov economists, March 13th to 16th surveys, Democrats slipped from 45% to 43%, while Republican support had gained steadily to 41%, shrinking a gap from 4 to 2 points since the bombing started. And this is obviously freaking the F out of Democratic analysts, of people who are pro-Trump. There isn't an actual split in the base of the party, but I think that there's something of a mirror there to what happened with that community.
I don't think.
Back in the day, right? Which is part of the movement was really only interested in dunking on Christians. Eventually, they realized they had more in common with the Democratic movement than they had with what was becoming the Republican and conservative movement and the people who are interested in the truth. And somebody said in the comments,
Cook is a behavior. I think you're judging more his appearance. I'm not saying that looks like, It's like I said, their appearance is like a character that they wear. They don't wear themselves like this IRL, And I don't see any reason to call them cucks up until now for their behavior. So no, I don't think you're right.
Of this video yesterday, that the real difference between the two parties had become one party is interested in what's true and one party is just not, right? Like they want to create a constructed reality. And I think that this is part of what allows such a diversity within the left. It's why in the left you're able to have Islamists
within the right.
No, in the left. In the left, you are able to have Islamists voting alongside people who are LGBT, complete brainwash cultists, right? And you would think that these two things could never exist alongside each other, but for both groups, what is consequentially true is irrelevant. It's about the vibes and what they hate. And that's why I've pointed out that I do think eventually what is now the Groyper movement is just going to become part of the leftist coalition. It actually has a lot.
Yeah, they really are based on like, I hate this, tear this down, I resent this. Yeah, if you are that, then you are going to just end up in that left bucket.
While they share some aesthetic similarities to Republicans from like the 90s or 80s, they
Exactly,
have almost
exactly
nothing in
horrible.
common with the Republican movement as it exists.
Even though I see a lot of families nowadays, like where the kids rules over the parents, right? It's still total. You see that how the words became upside down. Everything is happening on the contrary. The parents should be like the ones taking care of the kids, but the kids are the ones deciding for the parents. It's really crazy. Everything like this is how you see that the words is in the devil's hands, literally, like the Bible says. This word is not on God's hands, it's on the devil's hands. And you see by that. And you remember that when you remember that the devil like offered Jesus Christ the words to be the king and etc. of the nations, you know, and he refused on the desert. That's a quite a good example that since then and up until now, and like the word is in devil's hands. Yeah, is it? And because it's in the devil's hands, everything is on the contrary. Everything is on the contrary. Everything is happening on the contrary. If giving birth is one of the greatest things like a family can do, you know, it's some God. It is a God blessing. So what the society builds, like the society made the hugest like genocide in the entire human history. That was the abortion. You know, totally against God. Like one of the most terrible things you can do to oppose God. You know, everything is going directly against God nowadays. Anything that you can think of. Oh, if there is something that God likes is a family, a good family that fears God, like, and it's hold together and having kids, like they destroy the family, you know. If a good woman is a submissive woman that listens to the husband, that it's under like his guidance, like no, let's make this woman like rule over the husband and become a total whore, you know. That it's always make the contrary, always the contrary. If the man should be the ruler, the one that built the society, let's make him a passive cook that watch his wife being fucked. You know? That's really crazy.
Today, and they share a lot in common with the faction of the democratic movement that's very embracing of Islamist values. Well, they've actually begun to show more and more convergence with the mainstream left as time has gone on.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not just that they've been voting left for a long time, pretty much since the inception of the movement, and signal that they plan to vote left going forwards. But if you look at the Islamist contingent of the left, they actually don't share that, like they do not clash that much with the Islamist faction. You see this with stuff like Tucker Carlson, where Tucker Carlson is constantly castigating people because, you know, he's adjacent to this faction. He's, you know, the anti-war, he's anti, you know, blah, 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 pro-Venezuela. Just because they don't like gay people, right? So, you know, he has a lot in common with this faction. I think he's part of this larger deontological faction, or more than deontological, hate-driven faction, but he's repeatedly come out as pro-Islam, right? Like, how dare Christians criticize Islam? How dare Christians be okay with Muslims being killed in this war? Very, very aggressively. If you see Nick Fuentes' videos, he repeatedly praised the regime in Iran, saying that they were right to, you know, kill the protesters in the streets and stuff like that, and said that he wants to create something like ISIS but Catholic, and praising the way that ISIS operate. So they don't have the reflexive, like, oh my God, but you understand how bad civilization would be if an ISIS-like model really spread, that most people in the I care about what's true faction of the right have, right? Because that's not what's interesting to them. It's like the vibes that are interesting to them, which means that they can actually work really well alongside Islamists in a way that, like, superficially it would seem that they couldn't. And if you look at the policy proposals that they're pushing in terms of like restrictions on, like when I talk about like content restrictions on the internet, these are policy ideas that we're beginning to see get popularity in the Islamic parts of the left, in the cities that are attempting to enact things like Sharia law, but also even was in the mainstream left. Like they've bubbled higher in the institutional like voting bodies of the mainstream left than they have at the right. And these are some of the core policy ideas that this group has and is interested in. So this ironically, I do think that eventually that faction will become part of the mainstream left, and I think they are kind of already part of the mainstream left. They just pretend they're not and say that they're not,
Yeah.
because that
Well,
it
yeah.
looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, right? If we accept that Islamists are fully leftist, right? Because I think you could say, well, they're Christian, they hold deep beliefs, and they disagree with leftism, but the Islamists disagree with all that, and we'd still say that they're mainstream leftists, right?
Mhm.
But back to Shoe0nHead. I think what Shoe0nHead really represents for the right, and the fact that the left doesn't have a figure like her, is that we are truly a big tent movement, like the core of the new right. And I think it's important to maintain that so we can continue to have the electoral dominance we saw in the last election, even when we do not have the purity spiralists, people motivated by hate in the movement anymore. Because as we've pointed out in the video, where we say the racists mostly turned against the movement, and they did. What are your thoughts, Simone?
I mean, I just want to add that that's the same reason why the right is more varied than you would expect. But I think that variance on both the left and the right is the telling part, that, oh my gosh, these are actually, they're not affiliative in the way that we maybe originally thought. That it's not
I actually think that variance is really, really interesting. The people who will ultimately end up in the right-leaning coalition, I think the other person said this is really true, is anyone who is fundamentally interested in the truth above all else. And if that is your interest,
beyond interest in the truth, I would say broadly, and there are exceptions. I think the Sargon of Akkad crowd, falls into one of these exceptions on this factor. But I think broadly, they're more likely to be vitalistic and excited about building for the future.
no, that those things are true. But what I mean by this is people on the right, the intellectual discussion of the right is not siloed in the way the intellectual discussion on the left is siloed. The LGBTQ activists are not really reading the Islamic extremist work and vice versa, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Whereas on the right, you can go as diverse as somebody like Shoe0nHead or ContraPoints or something like this. And ContraPoints isn't even on the right, right? And you can expect, most right-leaning influencers will be familiar with their ideas and engaging with their ideas. And there isn't an equivalent like that on the left. There isn't this sort of cross, and it's across ideas on the right. There is no like silo on the right where we don't engage with those ideas or where they don't engage with our ideas. Every silo on the right, even people who are insofar as the Grapers are still part of the right movement at all, they do go over our videos and ideas occasionally, right? Like there is still an intellectual interchange happening there. We are still going over those videos and incorporating ideas where they make sense. Like in terms of Israel skepticism, that's definitely something that I made a point to look deeply into and incorporate into our worldview. It's just, it didn't, the evidence that I got from that didn't flip me to, and now we should let ourselves be cucked by Iran and dicked around by them, right? Like if we can use Israel to help deal with this threat once and for all, then we should, and rather than screw ourselves over for just because it may end up helping the Jews, right? Or split up our coalition. I can say genes are real, and I mean I personally chose to marry somebody of my even sub-ethno group and still be okay with having a movement that has people who are in interracial marriages without scolding them or anything like.
And what the fuck did he means by that? What the fuck was that? What the hell is that? What the fuck? What?
That people a group and still be okay with having a movement to marry somebody of my even. Genes are real, and I mean I personally chose to marry somebody of my even sub-ethno group. And
What's going on here? What the fuck is going on here? I understood that, Greg, but that was weird as fuck. The way that he spoke in that, as if as he was trying to convince us, as if he was doing that something, and he was trying to convince us that, oh shit, that was so fucking weird. That was so fucking weird.
And still be okay with having a movement that has people who are in interracial marriages without scolding them or anything like that. You know, what matters is that we are discussing reality, right? And you can discuss reality. There is a real position where getting even if you take like all of the most racist positions, right? Even if you are like a racist maximalist, if you're still a realist and you're interested in like your genes, whatever those happen to be, eventually winning, there are instances in which it makes sense to marry someone from a different ethnogroup. And a society like the one that this is the reason why I think the people who are realists and racists in the video that we have that we talk about this, they often end up marrying non-white women because white women have become so terrible. They often end up
they
marrying,
sort of feel like their only option for passing on their own white DNA is to find I guess their definition of white woman. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're a racialist,
Exactly,
maximist, right?
Exactly.
You still have passed on more white DNA by marrying a non-white person than you have by failing to find a wife.
But yeah, in other words, if you marry like a typical urban mono.
That's the thing. He said it like we all understand that it's a bad thing. That's the real crazy thing that I was trying to explain. That it was mind-boggling. Really, what the fuck?
Culture-brained white girl boss, you might have 2 kids. Whereas if you marry someone who's a little more family-oriented from a different culture, but maybe say like European, but by way of Latin America, so a lot of people wouldn't count that, then you could have 6 kids. And
well, that's not what I meant. What I meant is if you don't find a wife at all.
Oh, sure, that too.
You know, you're strictly doing like even if you're like a racialist maximist, you're doing less for the white race than the person who is. For example, J.D. Vance has contributed significantly more to the future genetic white population than Nick Fuentes has, despite having an Indian wife.
True. Yeah, yeah, totally true.
So I mean, this is I mean, even if you are a racist, if you're a realist, you still often end up being like, okay, but I'm still in this larger coalition instead of drifting towards the left and fighting.
But that's not what's about it. I know you're saying more like a joke, but that's not what I mean. Oh my god, of course, like people have preferences. People have preferences, which is different than literally alienating entire races. Like different than taking away all the race that being against that, you know? Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't think I need to explain that. Of course, like, that's natural that now there are like a lot of white supremacists popping here and there, and that's pretty much explainable when literally the entire world, and all by design by big corpos and governments, being against white people living, they are literally trying to delete white men like out of existence. It's pretty much clear that wow, the reaction of it is more white supremacists appearing. Wow, who could imagine that, right? Who could imagine? It's like for all the other stuff. Who could imagine that people would become more like homophobic if we keep like slappy homophobia in everyone's faces all the time, like all this homophobic agenda, like I'm sorry, like, all this LGBTQ plus agenda in people's minds all the time, like wow, amazing, right? Amazing. This is not what I mean. Oh my god, of course people are free to have their preferences, but it doesn't mean like that you need to be a white supremacist. What the fuck? What the fuck? Damn, I hope I don't have stupid people here. I hope I don't have.
Against it.
Hmm.
And I think that that's why she has found herself in this. Is it's obvious that while she is a socialist, and I wish she would examine her.
I already said, and I will say again, if there is like red Miku lovers here, like what's her name again? I even forgot. Like I forgot the name. Nachizo Miku. If there is Nazism lovers, yes, get the fuck out, okay? Get the fuck out.
Her socialist views more, go into them more in new videos, because I think looking back on it as an adult and seeing how much the government has effed things up so far, whenever we've tried to give them power, she may realize that they may have been not as smart as she thought. But then again, she is a Catholic, and Catholics are traditionally socialists. You know, the last Pope was a big socialist. They've done many socialist revolutions. So we've also got to keep in mind that being a Catholic, even if we say like, well, governments are corrupt and everything like that, she'll be like, well, the church is corrupt, right? But like, it's still better to rely on the institutions. And so she might just have a different set of priors than we have that would make her never not socialist.
Yeah.
Anyway, love you, Simone. Glad you watch it. You watch her videos, right? Or do not?
Oh, every time a new video of hers comes out, I watch it. 100%. She's fun. She's funny. She's vitalistic. I like it.
She seems fun. I'd love to hang out sometime. If you're watching this Shoe0nHead, we'd love to do something with you sometimes. You're always invited on the show, and you're always you join our dating network so our kids can date, because you know we got to find somebody for our kids to date, right? Some sane people having kids out there.
Yeah, man. The only kids who are going to get married going forward are going to have parental help. They're going to need it. So, yeah, fun times. Speaking of which, anyone watching this podcast, there's a lot of base camp listeners who are part of our
It's getting more weird.
Most of our kids are like 10 years old or younger at this time. We're not doing anything yet, but we will be doing some stuff as they get older to sort of get them to know each other.
I mean, it's not exactly like I'm against, but that was weird. I don't know how to explain. I mean, the words become a huge pile of shit. So yeah, people are needing to walk backwards to the age where people, parents previously choose who is gonna marry with, who is gonna, who is gonna like be friends with. You know, we are walking backwards. So I don't think they are wrong, but that was weird as fuck. Like, there is something weird in the way that they say some things that really piss me off. I don't know how to explain that. Seriously, I don't know exactly how to put that in words, but there is a weird feeling that I feel when they speak like this. I'm not knowing how to explain that. There's 2 times already that is happening on this video. I don't know what it is.
Each other, do kid exchanges, you know, like so people can experience other households, kind of like, you know, culture. What is that thing where you
sending out?
Not well, yeah, like sending out as the Pilgrims did it, but there was this thing where people would even know, like our kids our age of our time would go like live with a family abroad.
I did that when I was a kid.
Yeah, that.
So it's like
the openly appeal to elitism. Might be that the reason, I don't know. Higher empathy leads to elitism is a dumb shit. Like, oh, of course, like it's what the billionaires does. But I mean, of course, like the masses are stupid, and I say that a lot of times, like, and the masses are poor. So, but at the same time, like, we see a lot of people that are elites that are stupid as fuck too, and they are not a few. There are a bunch of them, a lot of them. Or so I don't think like elitism is the solution to. That's stupid. That's a fucking stupid thing.
To me, it's the most natural thing ever.
I guess. Yeah.
Most family. Yeah. Because I did that with a family in Latin America, which is normal for wealthy Texan families to do, to send their kids to live with families in Latin America.
It's a good way to be exposed to other cultures, other ways of life, other parents and careers.
I mean, you want to talk about another way of life? Live with wealthy people in Latin America.
Yeah.
Wealthy Latin Americans have like a totally different way of living than wealthy people in the United States, and it is obscenely luxurious to an extent that I find it.
I don't know, but you do need the elated. It's just effects of humans. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to think about that. Honestly, I think I may lack knowledge on that, so I will not answer. But I mean, we can call out of filmites, like we see a lot of dumb shit like millionaires and billionaires doing stupid things all the time to confirm that the elites are smarter and etc. Also, they are the most pedophiles, the most cooks, you know? There's a lot of shit going on there. A lot of shit. A lot of shit. So, no, I think that's stupid. That's stupid. Like, there is the same type of people everywhere. Everywhere. Also, as you can find, like, very intelligent people in middle of the poor too. I don't know. And I know you say that is an argument of exception. But if we use that as an argument of exception, I will say that the exception of the elites are smart too. The exception, not the rule. The rule for the masses and for the elites is that they are all stupid, and that's why we are where we are right now. You know? The exceptions of the elites and the exceptions of the masses are intelligent, you know? It's not like, oh, the masses are stupid, but the elites are not. That's a stupid thing to say.
Off-putting, but okay.
Octavian has been like kind of struggling with focus with homeschooling because now he's getting to like the stuff that's kind of just you have to.
I think the difference is just like on percentage. What I mean by that is like because there are less rich people, a small group of intelligent people among them is way more highlighted than a small amount of smart people, intelligent people, and cultured people among the poor ones, you know? Oh, but some can argue like, but if there is such type of people in the middle of the poor, in the middle or in the middle class, you know, poor / middle class, they would like because they think different than the others, they would rise and they would become elite. That's a fairy tale. Life doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. What the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ!
Power through it, you know, in first grade because it's not that interesting, but it's foundational to get to the next stage. And so he's been really dragging his feet. And so I took a recent picture of him. I put it into Nano Banana 2 and I said, you know, age it up to age 28 and put him in front of a helicopter. And then I made this whole persona of him based on like all of his ambitions and dreams right now. Like, you know, he's founded various military tech startups and he has a helicopter that he flies around. And I put that persona and that image into Reality Fabricator and made a chat companion so he can speak with his future self.
No, Midland Music. I'm not criticizing you or anything. I'm not saying directly to you. I'm kind of talking to myself when I read this comment. I'm not directly it's you. You know, don't feel that I'm directing this to you like personally. Don't take this personally, you know?
That will help him when he's
That's really clever.
Yeah.
That's really
excited. He's like, that's me. And you can even see a little bit of you in there. It's kind of fun to see him age
The image looks really good. Like it does look like a Collins, and it's just based on his current face, not like other family members.
Yeah, it's based on I'll show you the photo that I used as the basis because you can just upload photos to Nano Banana and be like, you know, this, but oh, I deleted it. Never mind. Oh, I can just get it from my trash. See, the reason why I wanted to use Nano Banana and not something else was that Google is really, really good with age. Like it's able to take even really old photos of people and be like, oh, this is, you know, Simone Collins. This is like your grandmother when she was young. Like we have pictures of her when she was old. And then when we uploaded really old, like vintage photos of her, it recognized who she was and tagged her face in Google Photos. So
okay, I think I saw enough already of them. I started the video with a very good opinion of them. And my opinion at the end of that video, I don't think I will go up to the end. I don't think that there is nothing important on these last minutes. My opinion of them at the end changed a lot. Like almost as a 360. I'm sorry that there is a lot of you guys that like them. I don't like them. I feel like these two are a piece of the system, okay? They are not an exception. They are not different. They are not here to oppose the system. For me, they are put here to confuse even more people. This is what I think. You guys are free to think whatever you want. I think that they are too much artificial. I think they are made especially to reach some kind of audience, some kind of purpose that someone told them that they were supposed to be doing. I don't know, okay? You can call me whatever you want. This is what I think. This is my conclusion about them, okay? I will go up to the end of video because we watched it too much already. So let's finish this, but that's my conclusion already, okay?
I feel like Google's like facial recognition technology is really good because they have
It's
so
incredible.
much data.
Yeah, and by the
So
way, people,
that's-
if you want to use Reality Fabricator with your kids, because we have an audio chat feature as well for the companion app, go into the website, go rfab.ai/demo, and it locks the site on that device
yeah,
into a safe for work
180.
mode,
I'm sorry.
hiding
I'm sorry,
all
goodbye.
the not
Thank
safe for
you.
work content on the site, which can make it a fun way to use it with your kids to like have them talk with Power Rangers or whatever they want, right? Like a
You want to say
future
hi to
version
the
of themselves.
subscribers really soon?
Yeah, since I needed to go that way since.
Oh, I never saw this. Oh, so this was the boy in the photo that she used Nano Banana. I thought that she was a version older of her baby. Oh, I see. Ah, yeah. I didn't know they had another one. So they're doing a nice job as a family. A nice job. They are multiplying. They already reached the 2.0, like that is like at least like they need to do 2.1. So of course they cannot do that because you cannot have 0.1 son or daughter. So they need to do a 31 to compensate to all the others that are not doing, you know. They need at least a third one.
Octavian, can you tell Octavian to tell people about his new friend?
They have 3 kids? Wow, I didn't know. Like I said, this is just a second video of theirs that I watched. And in the other, I only saw the baby.
Octavian,
Yes.
what does your future self look like? What do you look like in the future?
Like adult and was a.
But don't get me wrong though. Even though I don't like many things that I saw here, I still prefer this over what we have right now. But I still think that there is a lot of wrong stuff here. Okay?
Giant helicopter and a helipad for and a hangar and like cool clothes. Like kind of like this goes like band and oh yeah, like a shirt that is black and I almost look like the president at that time.
In the future?
Yes, I almost look like a president in the future. And I got some hot water in, and I somehow got the ice out. It's in the sink.
He experimented with freezing his water.
Yeah, it was really fun actually.
And you're gonna fly? Future you is gonna fly your helicopter to a campsite, and you're gonna draw a helipad with chalk and make marshmallows.
Yes,
it's fun.
marshmallows.
His plan basically is like, I'm gonna fly my helicopter to a campsite and then roast marshmallows, which is basically just yesterday afternoon was what he did.
Oh, he did that yesterday
Roasted
afternoon.
marshmallows. Yeah. So like he just wants our life, but with a helicopter.
That's great.
All right, Octavian, you are cleared to go play with the spotted Sussex chicken.
I also noticed it, like, what? They are in the same house? Like they are in the same house? Like, feels like they are in the same house, but they are recorded separately. Why is it?
Let's go for it, buddy.
Goodbye.
Love you. Good job today. You did really well. I'm proud of you.
I can't believe I did 50 lessons.
I knew you could, buddy. You always could. Bye.
And for dinner tonight, I'll do bulldog again, cooked in the traditional style.
You mean the traditional Malcolm style?
Traditional Malcolm style, which is extra hot sauce and cheddar mixed in with the mozzarella.
Morning foraged ramps.
It was morning foraged ramps. But when you cut the ramps, the last time you cut them into confetti, this time cut them more like you would cut chives.
You mean we want larger chunks?
Yeah, like large cylindrical chunks.
You understand that I cut them the same way I cut chives. It's just you're cutting like doll-sized instead of human-sized. So they just...
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
You're not gonna. I can't like enhance. I can't enlarge them for you.
Enhance.
Enhance.
I wasn't sure if you were doing that with like the big in parts.
That's what they become when you chop them like you chop chives. They're actually really small.
No, the big bulbs at the end.
And what the fuck?
The ones that you gave me yesterday didn't have big bulbs at the ends. To get the dirt off, you pull off the outside sheath. You cut off the very tip, the root.
Yeah.
And then that's all you've left. And that is chopped like chives, looks like what you got.
Yep,
it's small,
exactly.
but
You must have accidentally cut off the bulbs.
I was really careful that not, because there's not a whole lot there.
Yeah, okay, it's enough video. It's enough. It's enough. They are just like discussing, well, how's gonna be the dinner, baby? Or something like that. Okay, all right. Guys, give me some minutes because I will grab another bottle of water. Okay. Wait, you guys call water? Wait, for you guys, I think it's weird to say bottle of water, right? It's water bottle. Is it water bottle? Here we call it like garrafa d'água, which means like literally a bottle of water. Like I don't know. I got confused. Water bottle of water. So both of them, both are correct. Okay, both is good meme here. Okay, I'll be right back. I'll get more water, and then I will call for the pizza that was I'll ask for pizza because the Dredge Pirate paid for it, I think 2 or 3 days ago. So I will be having pizza tonight. Yay! And I will ask that sooner so it doesn't take much to come to be delivered. And yeah, give me some minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got my water bottle or bottle of water, and now I will order the pizza. Just wait a bit. I'm ordering here. Welcome back, Foxo. Thank you. So today's pizza was sponsored by the Dread Pirate 2 days ago or so. Well, welcome back. And what kind of pizza? I'm thinking I love margarita. I think I will ask like half margarita and half Portuguese. No, you don't need to apologize, Midland Music. I didn't thought that you was treated. I know now because you said. I didn't felt like you were at all. Like you don't need to apologize for that. It's like I said, you guys are free to disagree with me about everything. Everything, okay? I don't want you guys to be clones about what I think. Like, I always ask you guys, like, I want to know your guys' opinions about. I learned a lot. I changed a lot because of that. Hopefully for the best. Because, I mean, I might be doing some mistakes here and there, like trying to be better, but I learned a lot. And also, I also like solidify a lot of things that I know too when I realize that I'm right comparing to other people. So I changed some things. Others I had like I became even more sure that I'm right on that. So yeah, that it was supposed to be a conversation, no a discussion. It should be like that. It should be, but most of the times it's not. I may have sounded that I was pissed off or something, but it's not exactly true. Like sometimes I'm just too much energetic in the way I speak, and it doesn't mean actually that I'm angry or anything. Or it's just that sometimes I'm just more energetic to speak. No, in fact, I want you guys to be different of me. Like, of course, we need to agree with a lot of stuff because nothing survives. Like when people think way too much different from each other. Because if people divague too much on points of views, like they are not part of the same community, they should be different communities. It's how it is. It is what it is. But some level of divergence, like if I would like point in percentage, like 30-40% of divergence, like it's healthy, you know? Like it should be healthy, like because if you are on a bubble that everyone says exactly the things that in the way that you think, in the way that you I'm talking with you guys, but I'm selecting stuff here on the app as well, asking the pizza. So if I'm on a bubble that everyone is saying like the same thing as me, how I would know when I'm committing mistakes? How I would know if I'm getting better or worse? You know, I worry too much with that. I don't want to become something unreal, something. It's not about being unreal. I don't want to believe that I'm doing something that is good when it's not, because maybe I have a wrong idea in my mind and everyone is agreeing with my bad idea. You know what I mean. I don't know if I explained right. Well, I would tell you when you make a mistake was like, thank you, Zealot, thank you. I don't have a problem at all. I don't have a problem at all. Yeah, sometimes I mean, I will not like I'm not like I have feelings. I'm a human being, so sometimes we can even like it didn't happen right now, but sometimes I can get a little pissed off, a bit angry for diversion of someone. That might happen sometimes, but it doesn't mean that I will not talk with that person anymore and blah 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 blah. No, because I consciously know that diversions are important. So yeah, I have feelings and that will pass and we'll be okay again. That's part of the game. That's part of how things should work. That's human. That's human. That people need to remember that, you know? What am I doing wrong here? Wait, there's something wrong? I'm still asking the pizza on the app. I think I pressed something wrong. Yeah, seems about right. Yeah. Now I just need to send this. And I wanna see that answer because they might be closed still or not open. Sometimes they randomly decide not open. Let me wait their answer to see if they are working or not. Terry thought, I actually like that music shows her emotions so freely. It feels more authentic than the ones who are always cool and composed. You know, it's actually, it's actually difficult sometimes because, if you don't, like, for me, it's kind of natural. I be myself. I don't kind of make effort for that. I say that many times. For me, it's easier to just be what I am here just because, like, IRL, I can't. But sometimes if you don't take care, you end up like saying what people want to hear and you don't even notice that or you notice after, you know? That's really a thing that happens with us, you know? I try a lot. I need to constantly remind myself that I shouldn't be like that because sometimes this happens. That might happen. It's not like intentional, but that might happen. And of course, like I try to avoid that. And if I do, I will go back. I'll go back to what I said. I say something different. Sometimes we just end up catering to something we don't believe without even realize that sometimes. I don't know how to explain. It's weird. It's weird. It's that type of thing that if a content creator will tell me before like I start to VTubing, I wouldn't understand. I wouldn't know. It's the type of thing that you only discover when you create content. You know? It's weird. It's really weird. It's something that we always need to take care about as content creators to not end up like becoming something that your audience wants you to be, but to keep being yourself. It's difficult. Sometimes it's easier, like sometimes you just speak your mind and don't think about shit. But sometimes you end up like without even noticing, like having your opinions and the way you say things like kinda shape it by your audience. Like, yeah. I don't know how to. It's difficult to explain. I really don't know how to if I'm explaining well. Okay, pizza successfully requested. Now we just need to wait. And as always, I will have to pause when it came. When it comes, be delivered. I just have one thing to say. Absolute Thank you very much,
cinema.
Pseudo Brand. Thank you very much. Absolute Cinema. Yeah, like I said, I like her Mizuki just the way she is right now. No need to change. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm drinking some water now. It's funny, you know? Because like some people, I saw a lot of people say already online that, oh, it's easy to create a community for you to grow online. It's just like you go online and talk and start grifting and start to talk about give your opinion on stuff and saying a lot of slurs. And say, I believe me, I saw people saying that online. But in fact, no, it's a lot more harder. In fact, like the fastest way to grow is usually being like it's like being you like these people do like over the fences, not saying shit, like try to be apolitical, trying to be like anything that is not what I'm doing. It's way more easier to grow like that. But I don't know how to be like that. I just know how to be like this, you know? And I just know how to be like this. You only have problems with algorithm, problems with a lot of stuff. You only find problems be like this. I bet that you guys that will stick around here for a long while, that are still already for a long time, and that will stay for a long time. You guys already saw, and the ones that did that or not, will see a lot of problems, a lot of things happen with me still on this channel. I bet you guys gonna do, because it's not easy. You farm a lot of hates, a lot of enemies, a lot of bad booktube AI algorithms that will always shadow ban you. You know, some X bans sometimes. I don't think so, Zella. I don't think so. I think I would be. It would be more easier if I would do literally anything else as a VTuber instead of what I'm doing. If I was about like, you know, like all laughs and giggles and stuff like that, and only react to memes and stuff like that, and blah blah blah, and not mention politics, and you know, none of that, not entering that mass, become like a safe space online, you know, a safe space would be way more easier and faster, probably. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, it's getting hot here. Let me. Oh, by the way, I need to wear some clothes because I will need to go attend the door, and I need to turn on the air conditioner because it's getting hella hot here. It will get even more hot after putting clothes. Okay, I'm back. I was closing the doors and windows so I could turn on the air conditioner. Oh, I forgot the clothes. Oh my god. I'll be right back. Oh god, it will take a while until the row is refreshed. Okay, I'm back. What you guys talking what? Cubezuki will be coming soon. Yeah, I really want that model. I will have one. After moving out and everything, like I wanna have a Miso Cube model. I think it will be very fun. As soon as I can find my bearings in Comfy Y, I'll make a cubes. Oh, you make for me? Well, great. I'll make a Cubezuki or a die try. Okay, maybe to not die. To be honest, I prefer when you give your opinion. I outsmarted the system. It doesn't matter if I get shadow banned if no one knows who I am anyway. State Apple Friday, you're doing great. Those that wear a mask for streaming can't keep it up forever. The mask eventually slips. Then the audience that like the mask leaves, maybe. Pseudo brains, Diamond doesn't performance though. Middle-length music, you don't have Alana's jiggle physics. But that's okay. You're talking about my model? Yeah, my model surely is not like Alana's jiggle physics, yeah. Like she has like way more booba, and her booba is way more shaky, yeah. Oh my, I don't like talking politics, it's not fun. I will do it when it needs to be done, but I'd rather nerd out on shit that one cares about. Realistic jiggle physics are better than breasts that look alive. Emo. Can you change the screen? Her face is offensive. Her face is offensive. Is her face like violating your safe space? I'm joking. Those channels have their place. Sometimes I have to take a break from all the politics. Stay steeped in it is corrosive to the soul. A good bet. What? It's like good shocks on your car. One shake should yield to a 1/2 bounces. When it becomes about breast, pseudobrains perk has its place emo. Stygian sticks. A meme of a cat eating. What is that? I don't know. Cookies? Popcorn? I don't know. The model is being racist to Asians at the moment. How is being Asian? What? How? What? I'm back. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I don't like huge floppy boobas. Maybe I'm weird. No, Mizuki model has more clothes than Mizuki. Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh god, I haven't supposed. I better not say this stuff. I just end up saying like, but I think I've said sometimes already on the Discord mainly like, here's so fucking hot, even with air conditioner. Like, you cannot like have clothes on. It's impossible. It's too freaking hot. It's so hot, and also like you cannot use the air conditioner the entire day because your electricity bill is so fucking huge. It's like half of your average month income. Thank you very much, Max TNR, for subscribed X4. Like I missed like subscribed for more 4 months or so. Yeah, I believe it is. I'm not sure. So it's impossible. It is impossible. It's hot. It's hot. So yeah. No, most of the times I am not with clothes or yelling with none. You wouldn't be wearing any clothes either if it's over 40 Celsius hot outside. Exactly. It's so freaking hot. But sometimes it's so hot that the air could, like most of the times, in fact. Now, not because we are living summer, you know. We are going to. I forgot which is the one that comes now. I think it's fall. It's fall. Oh, I get confused with stations, yeah. So it's getting less hot. Here it doesn't get cold. It becomes less hot. Now that it's less hot, the air conditioner refreshes enough. But when it's summer, when it's real summer, like because we have summer the entire year here, basically, when it's summer, there is no air conditioner that saves you from sweat. There is no air conditioner. I'm totally needing a shower, but I cannot stop the street to that because it takes time. I need to wash my hair. It takes time, What it was again? I'll try to make one. I'll talk to you about. Oh yeah. Low my summers are 50 Celsius plus. Yeah, here you find 50 Celsius plus. It's not that easy, but it's always above 40 for sure. Oof, my lowest was less 20. Yeah, I cannot say much more. I it more like doxing myself. The jiggle streamers are dime a dozen. I mean, low. What? The jiggle streamers are dime a dozen? I mean, low. Okay. In Canada, it's less 40 in winter. To me, it doesn't even sound like winter. What the fuck? Well, that makes me envy. I wanna live in a cold place. My house just has double AC, one for my room and one for the house. That's nice. Here we just have one, and it's here. Yeah. No, safe space Mizuki would be horrifying. While you are very away from your keyboards, your eyes were all squintly. It was squinting. What squint means? I don't know. If they are attached to a woman I like the... Oh, what? If not, they just fill me with sadness. Like, you have to be attractive and stupid? What a waste. Nudezuki confirmed. No, I wasn't. I wasn't totally. You don't have a basement or cellars to get away from heat? Basements or cellars? No, we don't. Having basements and cellars here is not common. Everything that is underground, underneath earth level, it's not common here. People don't make holes on the earth and under the houses here. It's not common. I think I never saw a house that has a undersurface level on it here. It's not. It doesn't exist here. At least I'm not aware of anyone that have that. Why? I have no idea. No one has something like this here. No one has it. That's crazy, right? I see a lot in movies and series. All of you guys have that. Sawdowns and basements, cellars, and this stuff this doesn't exist here. Midlands music. The thing about people being worried about being doxed is that they think people care. Sadly, they don't, and most of the time it's your friends that will dox you. So true, so true, so true. I learned that already in the terrible way, most terrible way, yeah. UFO, northern spring. Okay. It's called autumn in Australia, but Americans call it fall. Oh, you guys are going faster than I can read, okay? The chat will never end, that's why I dropped everything. Before we go any further, I want to take this brief moment here to thank all of you, my patrons, for the incredible support to my work here on YouTube, and especially my 5-tail fox tier members, the Holy Bowl and Blaze Riser, and all my 3-tail fox tier members, Wonny Wolf, Fanny Sylvie, Heat himself, Zalost, Sheila Not Serious, Zella Josiah, Mr. Enior Ethan, Max Tenor, Nugutino, Aburi, TBCI, and DV8. Thank you very, very much. You guys are amazing. Also, thanks to everyone that have been supporting me on Ko-Fi, Kick, and to all of my YouTube members. You can support this channel live and growth with just $5 a month and gain access to many perks. This is less than a burrito. Check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. And that's it for today, my dear Foxlings. See you guys on the next one. Bye bye.